The world has to start right here with each and every one of us. And it starts with love. I love that. I agree with, I don't know, did Gandhi say that or did you say it starts with love? You know? We all say it, right? It starts with love, you know, in each and every one of us. It starts with, right here, with every one of us knowing the truth about who we are, you know, who this incredible beingness is that walks just as you and walks as me. You know, and every single one of us, I promise you this, is capable of inner peace, of living a life. And we're talking today, mainly, at least I'm talking about inner peace, because it has to start here, you know, than talking about peace out there. And it has to start here, and we are capable of it. It's just that we don't live it. You know, we try, you know, and we're totally capable of it, and it's possible to live it this lifetime, to walk in peace, and to know who you are, you know, but very few of us are able to sustain that for very long, you know. We let the outer conditions, you know, we let all of the sorrows and the joys and the ups and the downs and the family and the friends and all the chaos of the world rob us of the calm peace of our soul, don't we? You know, instead of being able to stay centered in this calm peace of our soul. And I so believe that we can do it. And until we are able to live from that level of the soul, and what I mean is identifying with that, you know, knowing that we're a human and we have all of that too, but we are something so incredibly powerful that surrounds us and that is in us. And when we start to know that and we can start to walk that way in the world, our life won't be any different than it is now. You know, we'll still be tormented by the sorrows of the world, you know, instead of the joys and all of it. So what is the peace? See, I love the peace that passes understanding. I love that. I can breathe into that, and it feels so good. Understanding. It's something that we don't get, this incredible peace. You know, it's beyond any understanding. You know, it's beyond our mind. It's beyond anything, because it comes from the soul. And the soul level comes from beyond the mind. And guess what peace includes? Every single one of the Advent qualities that we talked about. You know, it includes, peace includes joy. You know, it's not just sadness and quietness, it's joy. If you have a calm peace of your soul, you're happy, you're joyful. You know, it includes hope and trust and peace. It holds all of our feelings. See, peace holds everything. And because everything in life has its opposites, and peace holds it all. And I'll tell you, my favorite guy, one of my favorite guys, I'd love to get him here someday, and I asked him to come, and he hasn't come yet. But his name's Mark Nepo, and he's a poet, and he's a philosopher, and I love him. He's got the Book of Awakenings, and I read every night. I go to sleep and I read this, and it makes me feel so good inside. And here's what he says about peace. He says, peace is the depth of being that holds my suffering and my doubt. Peace is seeing my feelings all the way through to the vastness from which they came. I love that. He says, I keep opening myself so I can drop into the calmness I was born with. Now imagine the calmness, you know, and that's what he's talking about, is holding it all. So here's the same quote in a different words. Peace is the depth of being that holds suffering and doubt, not the raft that we climb on to avoid suffering and doubt. Now isn't that good? Because so many of us are trying to avoid, you know, the suffering and the doubt and everything in our life. We're trying to climb on the raft of drinking or of partying or of something else. We're trying to climb on a raft to let all the sorrows go. And the truth is what he's saying is that when you have this calm peace of your soul, you hold it all. You hold it all and you're still calm. You work through it. What's really neat, someplace in here he says that our feelings have a beginning and an end, and we just have to stay with them until we get to the end of our sorrow. And then there's peace, you know. And I got to thinking, what does that mean, you know? Peace is the depth of being that holds suffering and doubt. How can you have both at the same time? But we can. And think about it. I was kind of looking back at my childhood. And I grew up in a family with 7 of us. There was just a lot of kids and stuff. And there was a lot of chaos in the house, right? With, you know, fighting and all the stuff went on. Mom and Dad, too. And, you know, the whole thing was kind of a chaotic mess. And I used to remember, and I'm thinking about Christmas time, going out into the snow. I grew up in the snow. It was really heavy, you know, coming down, and usually at Christmas Eve. And I would go outside and make snow angels. Did you guys ever make snow angels, you know? And it was so neat because I remember the moonlight, you know, shining on the snow, and then going out there, and I don't know, like when you swim, you know how you put your ears under the water and you can't hear anything? Well, that's what it was in the snow, because your head's back, and there's no sound. There's only the moonlight and me, you know, and I was making the snow angel. And I remember, I can relate this, and I'm telling you this, because I knew that there was all this chaos and all this sorrow going on in the house, lots of stuff, but I could hold this joy out here. It was so peaceful and so joyful that you could hold it all. And that's what I think that this piece of passes understanding is about. It's about knowing it, not pretending, you know, that life is always perfect, but it's knowing that you can hold both, that there is this beautiful peace and joy and love, you know, that is within you, and yet there's the chaos of the world. And our job is to identify with that deepness that we are, you know, because that's who we are. The feelings and the chaos and the stuff of your life passes, doesn't it? It comes and it goes. But there's one thing that is constant in our life, and that's the peace in our soul. Once we know that, it's always with us, you know? We have this whole mess of feelings, you know? Do you do that? You're up and you're down, and you've got different feelings going on in your life. And so we can't pretend that we just have good feelings, right? I'd like to say that, I'm always just happy, I'm always joyful, I have no other feelings in my life. Not true. You know, we have them all, and it's okay. We're human beings, and we're supposed to have them. So we have to honor that with our life. He says, all feelings begin and end in peace. I love that. All feelings begin. See, before you got a feeling, it's peaceful. You've moved through the feeling. On the other side, you let it move through you. The other side is peace. And our job, he says, is to open our heart, is to open all of our feelings so that our heart does its job. Our heart does its job. I'm thinking of Paul. Do you care if I tell the story that you told? In what I love these classes we have. We have Power Now, and we have the forgiveness class. And those are the smaller groups that we start to talk about our feelings. And we talk about how we relate to all of these concepts. And Paul had mentioned that it was the day of the anniversary of his wife's death. And it was really hard for him. And he said, but it got a little bit easier because he held both. And that's what I'm saying is he held the sorrow, but he held the joy of the other things that are going on in his life. He knew there were both, you know. And what I love is what you did is that you let the joy lead your life. You didn't let the sorrow lead your life. And that's where we make our mistake. See, he says that our heart does the work, you know, and that our heart is designed to bring us alive by meeting our feelings and relating to them. And the deeper we go, the more feelings appear, and then your heart does the job. Your heart does it, you know. But our feelings frighten us, you know, and so we turn around and we avoid them. So, you know, if we understood just for a little bit who we were, you know, and what Martin Nebo talks about is that we're the sea of being. I love that. We are this depth of the ocean. And all of these feelings are on the surface. You know, we have the anger, we have the sorrows, we have the jealousies, all the different feelings. They come and they go and they crash like waves do. And it's all part of the ocean, part of who we are. But when we start to identify with this deep depth, you know, of the sea of being of who we are, our life becomes better. We walk easier. You know, we walk with love. We connect with other people. We're more compassionate. We're more beautiful people because we identify and we know who we are. And that's what we're talking about here, is that we need to stay connected, you know, and let the joys and the beauty of who you are guide you, not the sorrow and the anger that you feel. You let that be. That's okay. You don't try to get rid of it. But you let the beauty of God inside, of the soul inside, whatever you want to call it, guide who you are, you know. And that's why we need to stay connected. See, there's a real... Here's what he said. This is funny. I was thinking about, you ever watch What's My Line? Remember that? Remember the old days? There was, will the real person stand up, right? Well, that's what I'm thinking about, is that, will the real you stand up? You know, when all this stuff is going on, right? Will the real Terry stand up when all this stuff is going on? You know, and that's the real you, is this peace and this joy, this love that walks. And if you can identify with you, then that real you would stand up and walk through life. You know, I talked to my friend Karen. You know, every one of us go through so much, and it seems right now, especially it's holiday time, and sometimes there's a lot of stuff that comes up because you're feeling, you know, sad. So, you know, you should be feeling happy, you think, right? And you're not. And so, anyway, I was speaking to my friend Karen, and she's a really close friend, my best friend since I was, gosh, I think almost 50 years, you know. And anyway, she's had a really difficult life, and she was just told, she called me, and she told me that her doctor told her she was going blind. And I you know, it just was, I was so shocked. Anyway, instead of fear, and I was expecting fear, I was expecting her to just unload all this stuff, but she'd already worked this through. And what she said to me is that I'm processing it now, and she said, I'm letting the love guide me through this. And she said, I don't know why, but I'm calm. She said, I'm calm. I've been through so much that this doesn't define who I am. And I love that. See, that doesn't define her, what's happening. It's one of those things that's on the surface, and it's a big one. It's a big one in her life. But it doesn't define who she is. She is the calm peace of soul, and she's identified with it. And that's what I'm talking about. It reminds me of what Eckhart Tolle in our Eckhart Tolle class, when he says that we are the life, not the life situation, right? And we think we're the life situation. But our life situations are on the surface. They come, they go. They come. How many things were you worried about yesterday that are fine today? You know, that you worried about last month? Think about that. The thing you're worried about right now, you know, you're not going to be worried about it later. You know, but guess what stays? Your life. Your life. You are the life beneath your life situation. That's huge. That is huge with us. And the things that we go through, the quote I love, just remember this, just as the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly. Remember that quote? I love it. Right when you're going through the worst stuff in your life, you just push through and you fly when you identify with the soul. So remember that. Walk with that. Know that. So I got to thinking this will be the last talk for us, actually, this year, because Carl Anthony will be here. This will be the last talk of the year, and I was thinking to myself, you know, if I had one message that I could tell you, the last message, you know, what would it be if I could say anything? And it would be to start right where you are, every single one of us. Just start where you are and love yourself compassionately. Love yourself. Because until we love who we are, know who we are, find who we are, we can't do anything out in the world. We cannot bring peace to the world. We can't bring joy to the world till we can bring it right here. And we have to start with loving ourselves first. That's so huge. And when you love yourself, peace comes. You know, you love yourself until you find out who you are, and who you are is the timeless energy. You're infinite, you're eternal, you're beautiful, you're compassionate, you're wise. You've got every quality of Advent in you, every quality of God right within you. If we know it, we walk with it. So your job this whole next year is to realize it, you guys. Just realize who you are, and your life, you know, will change. The stuff will still be there. I wish, you know, we could say, oh, there'll be no more problems. You know, that would be wonderful. But the truth is, there's always going to be stuff. But when you know who you are, boy, you walk a lot easier. To love yourself in this crazy world is the best thing that you could ever do. Life is beautiful. Life is joyous. You know, life is all of it. It's sad. It's up. It's down. It's all of it. And you are here to express your love in your own unique way. Each of us do it differently. That's what you're here to do, to love yourself and express it in your own unique way with peace. So that's my prayer for each and every one of you, is that this whole month we've been talking about the magic of love. So I pray that you live it, the magic of hope. I pray that you live it, the magic of joy, and that we have the magic of peace in each and every moment of our life. Thank you.